As the first step in this example, we're going to select or define a surface that we'll use to subdivide and ultimately to place those adaptive panel components. And there's a couple ways we can do that. One option is to select a model face of an existing Revit model. If we use the Select Face node to select that face, we're actually going to get a list that contains the surface. And what we'll need to do then is basically use list first item to just pull the first item from that list. That'll give us the surface only to work with. Now that seems like a small distinction, but that'll become important later when we start placing points on that face versus a list, because it'll affect the hierarchy of just how those points are presented and how we can actually group them together to place those panel components. So if we're going to select face, remember to always select that list first item. The other way to approach this is to just define a surface using Dynamo geometry. And to do that, we've done it in the past. We might select some model elements like some curves, basically extract the curve geometry and loft those surfaces together, or we can just define those curves completely mathematically. So a lot of ways we can do this, but let's see this in action in Dynamo. So here we are looking at the example. Let me just kind of zoom in on here. And I'm just going to, again, clean my palette by choosing all those instances and just deleting them. That'll make it a little bit better so that we're not confusing new geometry with old geometry. For this example, though, I'm going to use that other face, the one that was actually out of a Revit mask. So I can go through and just change and grab that surface. Now, when I run that, you'll see that I'm actually going to get a list of surfaces, which again has that level hierarchy we don't want. So what I'm going to do is actually just get the first item from that list. And now that'll just be the surface itself. That's what I actually want to be working with. Now, the other way to do this would be we could go through and just select these different model lines in the background. Let's let that finish spinning as it finishes the selection. Grabs the element ID. Okay, let's grab a second one. And then a third one. Now with those three, again, we can create a list of them, pull out the curve elements, and then finally we can use the lofting function, surface by loft. And that would actually create a surface that we could use there. So really either one of those methods will work. So let's go ahead and then turn our attention to how we can sort of subdivide those surfaces into points.